Hello gorgeous peeps, this is Chris from TechSpert and I'm here with Oppo's fresh new Reno 2Z, or 2Z I guess if you live in the US. It's a £329 smartphone, slightly cut back specs compared with the full fat Reno 2, but it still boasts a quad lens rear camera, 4000 mAh battery, 6.5 inch gorgeous AMOLED display, lots of great features and specs for, as I say, just £329, pretty solid value by all accounts. Now I've already delivered my full Oppo Reno 2 review, so go check that out right now if you want to see more on the big brother to this bad boy. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to prise the Oppo Reno 2Z out of this rather enormous box, show you exactly what you get in there, get it all set up, take you on a full tour of the device itself, and then stay tuned for an in-depth review. Now if I can actually get the 2Z out of here, that would be lovely. It's probably stuck in there. Come on, you know you want to. Seriously, have they like super glued this thing in there or something? Jesus Christ, it really does not want to come out. Ah, there we go. Almost dropped the bugger. Right, so you get the phone itself, obviously. Like the standard Reno 2, you also get a lovely little case bundled in the box, which is a bit of a step up from your standard sort of just transparent, basic bumper type thing. Adds a good bit of protection there, great stuff. And of course you get your 3-pin charging plug, you get your Type-C USB cable, you get your Pokey-Pin device to actually get the SIM in there, and you get some bundled earphones as well. And yes, they are 3.5mm because you do actually get a 3.5mm headphone jack on the Oppo Reno 2Z. Lovely stuff. So that right there is the box itself, highly exciting. And now let's actually turn our attention to the device. Now you can grab the Oppo Reno 2Z in a couple of different hues. You've got the luminous black, and then you got this version here, the sky white, which I'm really glad that I got as my review device because I do rather like it. It may just look like your plain, boring, standard sort of white handset at a casual glance, but as you see, as it catches the light, it does actually throw up a flicker of various different colors. It is a veritable rainbow when it catches the light just so. I really like the look and the feel of the Reno 2Z as well. Everything's arranged in a nice symmetrical vertical line right there, as you can see right down the middle. You got your little nubbin up top, which will just help to protect that back surfacing as well. Though touch wood, the Reno 2Z is constructed from Gorilla Glass 5 back and front as well. It's got a good heft to it as well at 195 grams. Certainly doesn't feel toy-like. I'd definitely say for 329 quid, it's one of the best looking phones around this sort of price point. And as you can see down there, as mentioned before, headphone jack as well as the Type-C USB. Let's see if there's any gas in the tank. Hopefully we'll have a bit of battery life, so we can just get it all set up now without having to pre-charge. As you can see here, the Oppo Reno 2Z actually has a built-in fingerprint sensor here in that massive display, just like the standard Reno 2. So just going to get that set up now. And there we have it, setup process complete. So of course, whenever you want to turn on your Oppo Reno 2Z, you can basically just tap that fingerprint sensor right there. So when the Oppo Reno 2Z detects that it's been picked up, or if you just tap the screen, it'll bring up that little icon right there, and boom, straight into your desktops, nice and easy. Now, like the standard Reno 2, the Reno 2Z comes with Android Pie on board, sadly not the latest Android 10 unlike the OnePlus 7T. And of course, you've got ColorOS version 6.1 stuck away on top as well. And I do quite like ColorOS, it's definitely improved quite a lot over time. So you've got the likes of the Smart Assistant, just gives you basically a load of fast access widgets, and the like. You've actually got an apps tray, which is nice. You can clear the clutter on your main desktops there. I've done a full video tour of ColorOS version 6, so go check that out if you want a closer look at some of the new features on there and everything as well. One thing that's worth mentioning though is the Reno 2Z does not have NFC built in, so you won't be able to use it for contactless payments and the like. Now that 6.5 inch AMOLED display certainly seems strong for this sort of price point. It looks nice and bright, nice and punchy, as you can see there. Quite vibrant colours on this Harley Quinn trailer. And because it's an AMOLED, you get some nice deep blacks and everything as well there, so respectable contrast, though I don't believe it supports full HDR. And of course here on the Oppo Reno 2Z, just like the Reno 2, you get a lovely full view finish. That's because there's no dinky little nipple notch or anything like that poking into the frame. And that, my friends, is because of the pop-up selfie camera, which is rather adorable. More on that in a bit. But back to the media, and the Oppo Reno 2Z is also very impressive when it comes to the audio side of things. You only get a single mono speaker, unfortunately, rather than a stereo output, but it's nice and powerful still. A little bit tinny on those maximum volumes, but at least you'll be able to clearly hear what is going on. You got full support for Dolby Atmos and even high-res audio as well. As far as the performance goes, here on the Oppo Reno 2Z, you get a Mediatek Helios P90 chipset rather than the Snapdragon 730G packed into the full fat Oppo Reno 2, but it's still backed by 8 gigs of RAM. Touchwood, seems reasonably nippy so far, certainly be giving it plenty of tests to see how it copes with the likes of PUBG Mobile. I wouldn't have thought you'd have any problems on the battery front either. It's a 4000 mAh cell stuffed inside of here, and you once again get that VOOC 3.0 charging, so hopefully an hour at the plug should give you most of a full charge. And on the storage tip, you've actually got a choice of 128 or 256 gigabytes of storage. As you can see, this is the 128 model. I've installed quite a lot of apps, and as you can see, I've only used just under 10 gigs, still got plenty of space there for your pics and your movies and such forth. And backing up that fingerprint sensor as well is a bit of face unlock action, of course, using that pop-up selfie camera. So just stick my mug in there and get it all enrolled. No face detector, come on man, that is a perfectly good face. And you've got lots of different settings that you can play around with, and of course, closed eyes will fail face recognition, something that you don't get on the new Google Pixel smartphones, which cost twice as much. And touch wood, this should be nice and nippy here on the Oppo Reno 2Z, just like the Oppo Reno 2 before, as you can see there. Despite the fact you've got to wait for that camera to pop up, it's still pretty swift. I do love that little purple LED lighting as well, nice little pop-up camera disco. As I touched on before, the Oppo Reno 2Z has a quad lens camera setup similar to the original Oppo Reno 2, but it is actually different tech. So once again, do get a 48 megapixel primary lens f1.7 with that Sony IMX586 sensor, great stuff at this price point. But it's backed here by an 8 megapixel ultra wide angle lens, and then just a 2 megapixel depth sensor and a 2 megapixel mono sensor, so there's no telephoto zoom unfortunately. Now, if you jump on into the camera app though, it's basically the same setup as the standard Oppo Reno 2. As you can see there, you've got a bit of scene recognition smart, so it reckons Mr. Tiger here is actually a puppy. You can jump to that ultra wide angle lens with a quick tap up here. It's slightly annoying that it's all the way up there, it's not down here. You can do a 2x digital zoom as well using that little thing, unfortunately, and 5x as well. But it doesn't actually swap to that ultra wide angle lens with another tap, it just goes straight back to your standard mode. You got your dazzle color up here if you want to just give those colors a bit of a boost. Various filters and all the rest, and then you can quick access the settings here. That's immediately, oh, that's good. The watermark is turned off because sometimes it's turned on by default on these phones, which is incredibly annoying. Video, you can shoot all the way up to 4K resolution footage, though sadly it only allows 60 FPS at that 1080p full HD level. And of course, you've got all of your bonus camera modes that you would expect, like a bit of portrait mode using that depth sensor just to lock onto your subject, keep them crisp, give a nice bokeh style blurring effect to the background. You can jump to your video mode with a quick tap over here. And as you can see there, you can use the ultra wide angle lens, although I believe that's only when you're in full HD video mode. I don't think you can use it at 4K level. And then tap here, and you've got the likes of the night mode, which just takes a long exposure shot, stitches together lots of different photos of different exposures, just to really brighten things up. Certainly works quite impressively well. And you got your full expert mode as well, if you actually want to piddle about with the settings, mess around with like the white balance, ISO levels, all that kind of stuff. And if we swap about to that amazing front-facing selfie camera, you can see you've once again got your bit of portrait mode, so you can capture some nice crisp shots yourself, blur out the background. Quite a wide angle finish, so you should be able to cram in plenty of mates or a good bit of background action. As you can see there, you've got full HDR smarts as well, just as well. And if we dive on into the settings, the video starts off at 720p weirdly by default, you can bump it up to 1080p. And there you have it, that is the Oppo Reno 2Z. As I say, 329 quid here in the UK. You can grab it from likes of Carphone Warehouse, Amazon, and of course direct from Oppo as well. And I've got to say, the specs and the features on this thing are mighty impressive for £329. Definitely a strong rival to the likes of the Moto G7 Plus. Just a little bit of extra cash and you can bag yourself one of these instead, as long as you don't mind the fact that it's got the ColorOS and everything slapped on top. Camera certainly seems good. I'll be giving that a full testing out the rest of it. Hopefully the performance and battery life will stay strong as well. So what do you reckon? Are you tempted by the Oppo Reno 2Z? Definitely let us know down below in them there comments. Please do poke, subscribe, ding the notifications bell, do all that fine thing. Love you lots. Cheers, bye.